How is it that a movie that was released all the way back in 2015 somehow now is more relevant than ever? If you're anything like me, your home feed has been filled with Inside Out 2 content. To understand why people are talking about this so much, we have to travel back in time to the early days of Pixar. In the original movie, we saw fear, sadness, joy, disgust, and anger. However, with the new teaser being dropped, we are seeing a lot more characters. But to understand the root of the issue and why everyone's talking about Inside Out 2, we first have to establish the root of the problem. While the original Inside Out was successful, it prompted certain fans to question the main character Riley's gender, going as far as to say that Riley is a neutral name, and she also has neutral emotions.
Disney wants you to know, apparently, that the 11-year-old in this movie, pre any of the changes that happen to kids as they become adults, the 11-year-old is non-binary.
If you're wondering why everyone's talking about Inside Out 2, there are a plethora of reasons. This is one of them. Some commenters stating, "Stop trying to claim that this little girl is gender neutral. Y'all are so weird." While others are in agreement, Inside Out of the closet. Is it possible that Pixar will go there with Inside Out 2? Many individuals are very fixated on who Riley actually is. I always wondered why the moms and dads were only boys or only girls and Riley's was boys and girls. While this discussion may be controversial, this isn't the only reason why people can't stop talking about Inside Out 2. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, and you're going to have to watch this entire video to figure it out. We have to focus on who the emotions are. One of the emotions will be anxiety, something that a lot of people face. We all have to keep in mind the target demographic that Pixar movies usually target. With Inside Out, it kind of transcended that usual bubble of teenagers, because parents and teenagers love the movie as well. However, I bring up this point to highlight something very important. Many of us who watched this movie in the past, 8 years ago, would have grown up significantly. Even if you were someone who was just 10 years old at the time that this movie came out, in 2023, you are now 18 years old. You're a whole adult, man, and soon you're gonna be paying bills. This is the reason why I think everyone's talking about Inside Out 2. See, Pixar really loved this movie. It was phenomenal. They didn't just rush out 50 million sequels one after another. Bang, bang, bang. Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. Incredibles 2. Sequels have a high chance of failing, and Pixar messed up big time with Toy Story 4. Toy Story 2 and 3 were well acclaimed. However, 4 really messed it up. But I digress. I believe that everyone has grown up with Riley. See, when you look at The Incredibles 1 and 2, we waited a very long time for a sequel. The first Incredibles was released in 2004, while the sequel was released in 2018. That is a huge gap, even bigger than the Inside Out gap. However, when they released The Incredibles 2, they started off immediately after The Incredibles 1. Some people thought that this was a letdown. We didn't see the characters grow up on screen. However, their voice actors' voices kind of sounded aged a little bit. Now, it seems that Pixar is doing something completely different, and this begs the question, is this the reason why everyone's talking about Inside Out 2? So far, I've given you 2 possibilities of why I think people can't stop talking about it. But I'd like to ask you, the viewer, what makes you so excited to see Inside Out 2? What part of your life did you watch the first one? And where are you now? My third hypothesis of why everyone's talking about Inside Out 2 is because they're using something that everyone can relate to. Anxiety. That is a grown-up issue. There's not many kids running around with anxiety that are at least aware of that condition. So what Pixar is communicating to us is that this is not going to be some baby movie. Isn't it funny how in the trailer they have anxiety introducing themselves? However, when you think about it, someone with anxiety is not going to go out of their way to introduce themselves to 5 people. That's a lot of people, and that's coming from someone with some anxiety. Personally, when I saw the first Inside Out, I was really young, and I really fell in love with this movie. Honestly, I can't wait to see what will happen to Riley. I think the sequel has the possibility of working. I just hope and pray that it's not a cash grab like The Incredibles 2. Now, I know I'm stepping on a couple toes when I say this, but The Incredibles 2 did not impress me. The animation was stunning, however, the story was lackluster. Now, that's not to say that The Incredibles 2 was a bad movie. I think it was a good movie, which is bad. Let me explain. Feature-length films on the scale of Pixar and Disney are supposed to be great, not good. If your movie is good on Disney's level, it's bad. Do you understand? I hope that makes sense. And it didn't do justice to the first. If you've seen the first Incredibles, you know that that was an amazing movie. I don't care that the animation is dated. I don't care. I love that story. But now it looks like Inside Out is ready for its own sequel. Only time will tell how this will do. So it looks like they released the teaser trailer on November 9th, 2023. Yet at the end, it says it's going to be released in summertime in theaters. Now, what's interesting about this is that there's something a lot of people didn't notice. Zoom into the bottom and it says this film is not yet rated. See, a lot of people didn't notice that. Now, what this basically means is that the film is kind of in a gray area at this point in time. This is not a baby movie. Inside Out 2 will touch something mature. I don't know what is in this movie, but there is something that's going to boost that rating a little bit higher. Now let's get on to something that's slightly controversial. In Inside Out 2, there's a possibility that the story can go somewhere that you didn't expect it to go. We may even see Riley going through puberty, having her first period, going through a menstrual cycle. Now, I understand that this makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and even I thought it was impossible for animated movies to really talk about this. This is not something that they usually talk about. However, what opened up my mind was when I was reviewing a cartoon called Molly McGee. One of the characters literally has a period. Literally. Not implied. They're literally talking about having periods and going through it. Take a look.
Molly, could you come here?
What's wrong?
I got my first, it's my time of the month.
What time of the month?
You know.
So when I saw this, I realized that things have changed in the animation world. Writing is a lot more loose and you can talk about different subject matters. Now, I asked my female fans, what are their thoughts on this? Is it okay to talk about period blood? And we had mixed reactions, okay? The reactions were mixed.
She got her first period.
So this could be a part of the plot in Inside Out 2. What is my source of reference for this? Well, when you take a look at what Pixar has been doing to Big Hero 6, the series, they have also talked about periods.
I just got my first period.
Correct.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Mild abdominal cramping is
I
typical.
can't believe this is happening.
So if you're someone watching this video right now that was shaking their head before, after I've shown you those two clips and those two instances, now you're thinking, okay, well, this guy might have a point. Maybe Pixar will go there. We have no idea where this story could go. A lot of people are talking about this. There are so many different talking points, and that's why I think the teaser trailer just blew up. There's so much to talk about. Whether Inside Out will feature anxiety, periods, topics on gender identity, or even LGBT elements, Pixar seems to have their hands tied behind their back and are trying to do their best to avoid serious backlash like they did with the Snow White movie. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.